Good night, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday prep. I hope everybody had a great weekend and let's get it done. So as usual, I am going to start checking out the futures real quick, and you guys can post in the Zoom group chat the tickers that you may want me to check it out. So some of them may already be in my list, but if they are not, I'm going to check it out for you, no problem. Now, could you please just confirm that you are hearing me really quick on the chat? All right. So let's start by the S&P 500 futures. So you guys can see we're gapping up very nicely, about 12 points. And we are approaching that resistance that is going to be key resistance right here. So you guys can see we had multiple interactions to it in the past, and also not only in the recent past, but way before. So you guys can see a lot of interactions. So let's see how we're going to react once we test there from the bottom side. Remembering that we are doing this was kind of a equal high, but you can consider still doing lower highs. This was the first higher low from this over here. You have this one, but we broke this trend and we came back down, did a kind of equal high right at the yearly pivots, which is a good sign, but I really want to see if it's going to break above this. Now let's check intraday how we are looking. So this is our key resistance right here. Nice, so we open over here, push through. The dailies way up here, the weekly main. The weekly main is here, so the key zone for the week is gonna be this 2880. You can even add a little bit. Let's consider 2878, 2884 as the key zone for the week on the S&P. And the key resistance is going to be this 2912, 2918, 59. It would be nice to have a pullback actually to prove that this now it's support. We don't want it to be one of those overextended situations where it's a unsustainable move. So if we could pull back to here overnight, maybe do something like this, reject to this one. This is just an intraday speed bump. So reject to this one and then come back down and test the zone and do something like this. And then we go and test this area here. And that's where we're gonna see, are we gonna keep selling or are we gonna find buyers at this price point? No, so it's opening bullish for the week, bullish for the day, for Monday. As you guys know, it's still bearish for the month until below 29.86. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's check natural gas. All right. Come on, load all the stuff. There you go. So we had that very nice push on the report Thursday, but we couldn't hold this as support, and we came back down. Now we are retesting this 2.158, which was important. It bounced from here, has some interaction here, and over here. So now we're back to there, and it would be nice if we can hold as support now. The thing is that we are bearish on the week until below here, so we had to be careful. We gap down and we're pushing up. We have to be careful not to do something like this. Let me delete these old lines here so we don't confuse ourselves. One minute, guys. Just want to make sure. There we go. So what we want to be careful is that we bounce here and then we test here and then fail and then go back down, right? And this is going to be here. This is the one I'm looking at. I want this to hold. And retest here, for example, and that's going to be the key. Now, everybody knows I really wanted to 2.017, but I'm okay not getting that. Everybody in the chat is swinging since the lows we have been calling every bounce on natural gas, playing U-gas on it. They are swinging, but I day trade. I don't usually swing, so I'm okay if bounces here and I grab intraday play. But so for the members that are swinging, I prefer that just bounce from here, so it doesn't go back down on them. But I'm pretty sure if they are following our guidance, which is sell on the pops to resistance, they're probably not in full position right now and waiting to reload on these lower levels. So this is what we're looking at. Let's put intraday so you guys can see a little bit more on the intraday level what we're going to look. So this is the key resistance, the 2.185 for this week. Tomorrow, you can even include all this here. You can include all this as your key resistance, which is going to be 2.185, 2.204. And the key support is going to be this 2.158. As you guys can see, it gapped down to there and it was bought right up. So that was a good sign. You just need to keep reclaiming those levels for it to go up more. If we break this one, then we're going to be expecting this 214. 1 second, guys, it's still loading. Let's put 10 minutes so it loads faster. We don't need the 5 minute right now. So zoom in where I was right here. Okay, come on, don't toy with me. Man, okay, hopefully that's it. So this is that scenario we talk on the higher time frame. Come here, back test and go back down. If we lose this 214, then we're going to retest that stronger zone right there. So that's something to keep your eye on. If you're long, make sure to take your profits on the push-up. If you wanted to short it, make sure to find weakness on key levels. Okay, so let's check oil. Oil loves this orange pivot. So this is the previous year orange pivot, which is the main yearly pivot, is the strongest pivot we have on the board, and this is this year's main pivot. So it is is undecided to what to do. It goes up and back down on this zone here, all this between those two pivots, and always revert back to them. Push up reverts back to them. Push down reverts back to them. But so the key thing you need to see for oil this week is it needs to go stay above this one, right? Let me make it bigger. Okay. 1 second, guys. My hands are a little. Okay. So, first thing is to stay above this, but the key thing is going to go above this weekly main pivot 55.29. Once it goes above it, then we're going to retest this upper levels here once more. If we can't hold this, so this is going to be the what we call lit line in the sand. This is the line in the sand zone for oil, which is, let me move to put here about 25 candles. So it needs to stay above 54.85, 55.02, which is the zone here, and it needs to break above 55.29, which is going to be the upside line in the sand. This is the downside line in sand, and this is the upside line in sand, right? If we break this one, most likely we're going to test this 54.23. And if we break this one, we're most likely going to test 55.87. Now let's check intraday real quick. See, this one is above the daily. So the yellow one is our daily main pivot. Okay. Okay, guys, 1 second. Just loading too much information. Okay, so we are above the day main pivot, which is inside that key zone, the key support zone. So that adds another level of support. As you guys can see, let me zoom in a little here. We try to go back down. This was all on the open candle, all this big undecisive. And then once we are above the main pivot, you can hold it 1, 2, 3 times and then push it. Now it's going to be a very important to hold this pivot. What we could do if we're still on the bearish tone is a push to here, rejection, and then do our favorite short setup, which is the fail to hold, retest, and fail to reclaim. So if that happens, then we'll go 54.23. So keep an eye on that level, which is the 55.29 and the bottom zone here. Let's check gold, our last future ticker. Come on, gold. What do you got? Okay, let's extend this a little bit. So as of right now, I'm actually really want this to hold right here. I don't want it to lose it again. If you lose again, we may see something like this. We lose, bounce from here, and then reject and go back down. So I really wanted to stay above this, which is the 15.1650, 15.2070. Now, this was Friday. We retest this key level here, the pivot 15.2850, and reject it immediately. So what we could be seeing here. So we push here. Let's try to come back down, push back up. We couldn't hold it. Came here, and now we are doing like this. And 1 second, let me move my paper sheet. So this is here. Let me actually, it came lower, it came right here. and we push to here, and we failed to hold, and now we are here. So I don't think it's looking good, but as long as it holds this, we're still on a bullish mode, right? I really don't want this to lose here. If you lose here, then we wait for the bottom to reload on gold, which is here. The only way that this is going to stay up is holding above the 1519.50. Let me show you intraday so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Let it load a little bit. Stop fighting TOS. They have been dragging lately. Plus my internet doesn't help too much. Mostly on Sunday nights is a little, okay, come on. So this is what I mean, right? What is happening right now? So we push up, back down, retest this level, back test this one, and if we can't push it, most likely we're gonna go back down, maybe do a retest, and then test the bottom of this zone, which it needs to hold. What you have to keep in mind is that it now, once it's here, is below the main weekly pivot. So it's on a bearish note for the week. It really needs to push through to change that scenario. If it can't, we're gonna retest this 1512.50 that we talked about on the high time frame. So right now it's making a little zone right here between the weekly and the top of that major high time frame zone. So that's what you have to look for. Once we break above this, we still have to break above the main daily pivot. So it's bearish on most of the lower time frames. Let me see one thing. Just want to make sure. Oh yeah, and this is the main monthly. Is it? Let's verify on the higher time frame. No, I don't think it is. It's a brighter one. Let's try to find it real quick. See, this one is the main monthly. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So even if it push through, we have to be careful with the rejection on this higher pivot. So there's a lot of resistance, a lot of overhead. So keep that in mind and keep it tight. If you're long, keep your stop losses tight. Okay, let's start with the tickers. Let me remove this. Let's see what I have. PSTV, first ticker. Let's check it out. So congratulations who traded this with us Friday. We called this very early on the day. I think it was around 7. What to expect? As you guys can see, hit our pivot so nicely. But what to expect of it Monday? The $10 hold very well. Let's see. So ideally, I would love to see this holding a higher low at this area here. So you can say this is going to be the key support, which is the 1116, 1172, and the key resistance is going to be over here, right here, which is the 1312, 1355. So what we want to do is dip, hold, push, reclaim. We're going to retest this previous close line right here at 1444 and a break and hold. Let me mark this one real quick. From Friday, worked pretty well for us. So once we break this 1312, we're gonna have this one here. But ultimately, this 1610, 1672 is gonna be the number to beat. Now, you have to keep it tight if you decide to go long. Let's say hold support here, because what it can happen is something like this, rejection, and then come back down, right? Maybe come to test that $10 mark, which we're gonna mark right here on our pivot, which was 10.08. And so what you're gonna do is take a partial or most of the profits if you want to, but partial break even on the rest, and then you can watch and see how this reacts right here. We can have a bigger zone, if you will, a 910, 1008, and that's going to be the last line of defense. What does that mean? That means that most likely we can see a strong selling if it breaks this level. Okay, so that's what you have to keep in mind. So yeah, if you want to go long, these are the dip. I will not long over here. Only if we gap up and then we test back down. But if we're pushing, we don't want to long on the key resistance. Remember last week I joked with everybody that I was going to make T-shirts for everybody. So never long on top resistance, never short on bottom resistance. So that's the way to keep away the choppiness. So that would be the plan, right? It's still holding higher lows here. Let's do a trend line. Right here, we have a trend line holding up. So that's something to keep in mind. Now let's check the float real quick. Let me check. I don't even know if they have the info already. Oh, they do. So it's 0.44 million. That's like ridiculous. Let's check how much volume we had Friday. PV. I'm checking for you guys. PVTS. No, PSTV. Confuse myself. PSTV. So we had Friday. Where is the volume? The volume was 16 million. 16 million. And the float is 0.44. That's just ridiculous. So that's about 36 times the float Friday. So we have a lot of people here, and then can cause another short squeeze. I just want to see. So a short float is 51%, guys. Short float is 51.91% on a stock that has 0.44 million float. All right. All I have to say is that be careful. If you're trying to short this, be careful. If it holds these key levels, it's going to squeeze like a lemon juice. Okay. Now, if it breaks this, all those 16 million people, of course, not everybody don't have that flow, have only 0.44 million, but all that people is gonna be massive, either to the downside. So watch this, be careful. If it breaks this, make sure to get out. And if you're short, if you break this, I would be concerned to stay in. I would even concern to stay in if we hold this, but if we can't break this, it's just gonna go back down. So depending on your entry, you may still be good to hold your shorts, but you have to be very careful, very, very careful, okay? But yeah, that's the plan for PSTV. It's gonna be on watch again, high watch Monday. It's gonna give us a play to the upside or the downside. For sure, it's gonna give us something. RKDA. So RKDA, it was a very nice run. We called first time here at these 260s. I even have a zone marked. As you can see, there is a rectangle here. And it ran like crazy. So what we're expecting from this? Why am I looking at this since it's selling? Very simple. We are approaching a key resistance, a support zone. Let me mark this here too. 1 second. So what we are going to look for is how it's going to react to this zone right here. Let's go to intraday. Intraday, here we go. So we are looking at this. 607, what is the number? 620, 26. So 607, 606, 607, 626. This is going to be the line descent to the downside. So that's where I'm looking for longs, right? I would not short on a key support, but I will short on key resistance. Now, if this is the difference. If we have a very strong sell and then we retest this zone, then there's a different picture. Then I'll be looking to enter short, right? Just watch for signs of reversals to the downside and then take a short. Now, if we come back here and hold support, then we can have a $1 squeeze at least. We're gonna be testing. This is too big of a zone, but I think I'm gonna mark this one and then have that as resistance. So this is a zone 697, 724 is gonna be the key resistance zone, and this 741 is gonna be the upside line descent. So long, partial, and then see if we can push through more. Yeah, I think that's a solid plan. If we push, this is gonna be a rough area. So you can, if you like to short, that would be a good spot to watch for your favorite reversal pattern right here. And if you're long on it, I don't know, maybe somebody grab it or we have a chance to grab over here. That's where you take your partials. Let's see what else. TROV. So this was requested because it had news after hours. So we are checking to see what's going on. We may see a gap up because of the news, though it pushed a lot after hours already. Let's see. No, that was not after hours. It pushed Is this after hours? This is, no. So it pushed right before the market close, it pushed and then gap up a little bit more pre-market. So the key resistance that we're gonna look for is gonna be right here. This is gonna be the key zone to break the upside line, the sense 2.30. So that's what you have to watch pre-market. Let's mark this. Okay, let's organize our pivots. What we're seeing. Key support 203, 205. Ideally, we wanted to hold above 213. And even give a little bit more, maybe to yesterday's close and high, which is 210, but 213 ideally we wanted to hold above it. And our key resistance is going to be here. First key resistance at 230, 236, and then 253, 245, and that's where we're going to start open up a little bit more range. If we can break and hold that, we can look at it at 286 after that. So based on the news, expecting more upside. We really wanted to hold above this here. If we can't hold, then we're probably going to retest this 192, 183 area. And then we can watch maybe for a deep buy over there if it does. So just put a little visual for you guys. Dip and rip. Retest and go. Retest and go. That's what we trade every single day in the chat room. Retest top of our zone, push to the top of our zone, hold support at the bottom of the zone, and then push more. So ideally, that's what you want to see if you want to long it. Downside, we already talked about. We don't want to see something like this at all, because then you're gonna retest this 183 that we talked about, and it may be good if you don't have a position and if you want to get into the position, right? So if you want to get it and it goes here, keep an eye on it for a reversal. Okay. AMRN. This is special for Meisner. He wanted my crystal ball, and there it is. So the crystal ball already showed up. We talk about this pivot, orange pivot, and when it was deep in there, we talk about it at 1310, and look where we bounced at 1310. And that was a perfect bounce, right? For this week, we wanted to hold above this 1470. Keep holding this uptrend. And hold support over here to push higher. If we can hold support here, then you can have your $16 target. Now let's check intraday. Let me remove this trend line just because it doesn't look right on intraday. So this is our, right here is our, where is it? This is our line in the sand, right here. That's where we wanted to hold support. Key support light leads. There you go. So watch for this. This is the 1470. So we want ideally to hold there. If you want, you can even give you a little bit room to 1459 just to retest this main pivot from Friday that it held very nicely and push up. So let's create a little zone here and see what we can have. If we can hold this, then we're most likely gonna retest this 1592, the 16 area that you wanted, right there. The main day zone for, let me change one thing real quick. Don't know why this keep changing. Probably because I drag and it changed. But. So the main day zone is going to be 1484, 1495. So if it goes back down here, remember it needs to break this again. So there's nothing wrong in doing higher support on this one. Just push from there. Let's see. STMP. Yeah, pivots, pivots, pivots. Remember that big orange pivot? Couldn't break, stay below. But you see this, the retest on it, on that big drop right there. But it had a good catalyst, it beat earnings. So it went up. Went up, came back down, retest the key zone, went up. So what we're looking for, we are looking for key resistance, which is going to be right here, which is the, let me see, 6231, 6332. That's the key resistance. And the key support is going to be right here, 5932, 5923, 5971. Now the last line of defense is going to be this 5791, okay? So we wanted this to hold. If it doesn't hold, this is going to be the last line of defense. If we break this, most likely we're going to retest this 55, 50, 56. Now, if we break above it, where we can go, right? So let's try to figure out together. I think it never went below this. Let me check real quick a 10-year chart just to make sure. Oh, there you go. So let me zoom in at around this area here. All right, so we have some levels. There we go. Yearly pivot from 2015, 65.99. Yeah, I really like this zone here. Really like this pivot zone right here. All right, so let's go back to our 4-hour chart. All right, it's right there, right here. So if you break this and hold above, this is going to be a very rough area to break. So if you're long, keep your eye on it if we break and hold. If we can't break and hold this, then it could be a sign to take some profits, okay? If you want to short, just watch for a reversal pattern on this zone here. Maybe it needs some pullback, and then if it pullbacks, you can grab it cheaper. Let's check ROKU. Yep. You saw? I think you guys already know what I'm gonna say. We look already bounced. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Who took this short? I think Sophie did. Took that short. Let me check one thing. Okay. So we came here, we couldn't hold above it. We came back down below this 137.94, and then we pulled back a little bit deeper to the next pivot. So what we're gonna expect for ROKU now, let me just show you guys. This is, I know I showed this last week, but if we have somebody new, it's always good to show, right? This is the ideal short setup on overextended stocks. Let's say you don't know where the stock is going, they never have been there before. What are you waiting for to see to grab puts or to short the stock? You're waiting for those key high time frame pivots to push through and can't hold situation. So look at the size of this candle. Look at this. This is a 137 to 140 and then to 142. So what happened was I overextended intraday. I was already overextended on high time frame. That's why we were on high watch for short. But it overextended, couldn't hold, came back here. Actually went to VWAP, I think. Came to VWAP right here. Tried again, couldn't push through, failed to reclaim. What that means? Short. Same thing here. What happened on this point here? Push under, tried to reclaim it, couldn't do it, came back down. Okay, came here, tried to retest on this candle, couldn't do it. What happened? Went back down. So simple as that, guys. Don't need to overcomplicate. Just look for the simple setups. I take that setup. That's my favorite setup. If you're looking for longs, it's the same exact thing, just the other way. Now, what we are expecting on ROKU. So look at this. 1, 2, 3. This was a Friday. We came back up, came back here, and push. So what we want to happen Monday is going to be imperative that ROKU breaks and holds above this zone here this week at some point. If it can break this, it's going to have more downside to it, or it's going to stay into a channel at around this area here until it decides what it's going to do. So you can take a short and long. It has a lot of range, so you can take it intraday that range. Now, ranges are boring, but are the safest trades, okay? I don't mind boring. Boring is safe. So something ranges from 133.40 to 127.36. That's a 6 point almost. I'll take that every day, all right? Just take it. Doesn't matter. If you want to catch this, then you have to catch it lower, or you have to keep watching. But if this is the same thing, guys, this is a 6 point, okay? 6 point move. How much do you think your option is going to be valued with a 6 point move, right? So keep an eye on that. We have the key downside line in the sand, which is going to be here, 127.47. I'm going to, if that happens tomorrow, I'm giving it another 128 right here with this intraday. And a key resistance is going to be 132.94, 133.40. So that's going to be the ROKU plan. If we can't break this, I'm going to short. If we dip here and hold, I'm going to long it. Now, what happens if we gap up? Market is gapping up. What happens if it gaps up? If it gaps up above this, what we want it to happen is a retest. If you want to go long, you don't want it to push straight to this one, because that's going to mean it's going to fail most likely. If you want to go long, and it gaps up, you want to catch the dip, okay? You wanted to prove that it holds support to show more players in the market that this has a very good relative strength. So dip, hold, and then rip. Once you get there, what are we gonna do? We're gonna hold to 157? No, we're gonna take a partial here, a very nice one, maybe 75%, 50 to 75, depending on how you do. And then you see if it breaks and hold. If you break and hold this, 141.50 is our next level, and it's that same level that we rejected. So we're going to take more profits there and see if we can write it up. The ultimate target for upside is 147.37. But for that to happen, it needs to reclaim each one of these levels, okay? Now, if we break under this key support, where we can expect to go, I would expect 122.36. So it's going to be another $5 down, okay? So keep an eye on that. You have a little here, 125. But I will keep watching the pivot, okay? Let's see what's next. BYND. So our BYND has this strong sell after doing our bear flag. Bear flag into key resistance, resistance. So bear flag into key resistance. What happened after this? Now, where it bounced from? It's trying to bounce from the main quarterly pivot, which is this here. That's the second strongest pivot we have on the board, okay? So that's gonna be our must hold line right there, 135.85. Now we are trying to hold a higher support level right here. So for tomorrow, this is going to be the key support, okay? Which is going to be 143.16, 145.02. Now the key resistance is going to be right here. 149.12, 151.07. This 152.7 is also a strong level, but it's up to you if you wanted to make it a bigger zone from here, which is not nothing wrong to do that if you want to. Just keep in mind, this is the weekly main pivot 151.07, and it can impose some difficulties. Now, trying SIEN, SIEN. This was our drawing from last Sunday. Check this out, guys. Isn't that ridiculous? Hit right there. Let me remove that. I think I have a picture already. I like to keep it, but sometimes it gets too messy in the chart. So we did that same drawing, pushed through, couldn't hold, and came back down, bounced off this 637, and now we are testing again that key resistance, which is 685. Is it 685? Yeah, 685, 699. So what do you want to happen with SIEN Monday? You want to, a second. You definitely want to hold this as support right here. Maybe do a consolidation inside of the zone and then push through. So stay a little bit in here, come back, do something like this, start squeezing, and then do something like this, right? That would be the ideal scenario. Now the trade is not dead until it breaks 675, okay? So if you have a long position and you want to keep a little wider stop, I will stop out at maybe 670. Give a little bit room from this pivot in case the market makers do that little nice pierce through and then stop everybody out and push up. But yeah, this is definitely the key zone to watch. You don't want it to fail this. Why? Why you don't want it to fail? Because then it's gonna be a lower high, right? And we don't want a lower high. Although it could be forming a flag. We have to see, this is all suppositions, right? So could do something like this. Maybe do a higher low here on this trend line. Come on. And then squeeze up. So there are a lot of ifs on this stock. The is still bullish, preferably if it stays above this 675. 637 is not the end of the world. As you guys can see, it has a lot of interactions on that area. But we already dipped there once. I don't want to dip there twice. You know what I mean? I wanted a higher support level. Maybe around here, 659. I'm checking. This one seems nice. 670. Around 670, which is almost around this area here. So yeah, that would be the plan. You want it ideally to stay in between these zones and then to push up. You can always take some off and reload on the pullback, okay? You don't want this to happen to you. You don't want this to happen to you. Now, MYGN. As you guys know, we have an announcement right after the string. So if you are a member, please make sure to stick with us after in the chat room. Q is going to have a very important announcement. Now, we call this Friday. I know you guys can't see my chart, my other screen, but this is what I said. MYGN, keep an eye for a hold of 2326, 2326, which is right here. For potential relief bounce, keep it tight. Key support zone 2240, 2326, which is this zone here. If we lose that, however, we're gonna go that, right? Break of 24 could bring the lemon. Did we break 24? Yes. Did we bring the lemon? Yes, we did. Right there. So make sure you always check the big board pivots room. Yes, lemonade. It was the lemonade after broke this 24. Just squeezed. But congratulations if you check the big board pivots room. Always post great ideas there every single day. If you have a stock that you want to trade and you want to have the pivots for it, just let me know in the chat room, and I'll post for you those pivots. Now, what we want this to happen for more squeeze, we want it to stay above this level, 2460s, and break above this. The key resistance to break is going to be this 20, where is my pivots? 2620. So the upside resistance is 2620. We can even make it a little zone with this previous pivot right here, because it had some importance last week, as you guys can see. So you can say 2616, 2629 is going to be the next key resistance, and we want it to stay above this 2471. Let me see one thing real quick. 2483. Yeah, see, everything is matching. You have these previous levels here that is around 2483. There's all these multiple pivots. So yeah, this is going to match here as a key support. So that would be the plan for MYGN. We are long as we stay above 2469. If you're still holding a swing on this, you can always take some off and then reload on the lower zones, right? And if you're long, you want it to break above 2629. If you want to short it, watch 2629 for short. You have to wait for the reversal. The strongest resistance after this one is going to be right here, 27.95, 28.36. So make sure you take your partials if we keep pushing up. Now let's check PayPal. So what I like about, this was my pick. What I like about PayPal, we are on this, back on this key resistance right here, right? And you can consider this our key support. So we have a very defined risk to the upside and a very defined risk to the downside. What we're looking for Monday, we want this to hold. Now let me try to draw so I can show you guys. Every time it pushed, it couldn't hold the back test to this pivot. You guys can see that. It was above it, tried to push, couldn't hold this bottom zone. And every time it did that, it went back down, right? So what we wanted to do is PayPal to hold this level. If we dip to hold this level, 105.62, and then hold, push through, and do something like this. Now, if the market is gapping up and PayPal decides to go with the market, what do we want it to happen? We want it to have a back test and hold, and then a push, okay? Look for this as resistance, 109.08. Let's check intraday. As you guys can see, our main day is inside that key zone. So yes, we want that to hold. Now, where is our main weekly? Is at 105. Is it? Yeah, 105 is the main weekly. So that also is gonna show the key support right here. You have the quarterly, the main weekly. That's gonna have that's like the last line of defense right here. Now we wanted to hold this zone. This is the zone we want to hold. We don't want it to go any under of this. Oh, nice. So someone was selling into PayPal, keeping it from going with the Spice Friday. I gave it a shot though. Yeah, it worked pretty nice. It bounced very nicely on the key support. So we wanted to keep it like that. If we gap up, we wanted to back test and push for more upside. Yeah, I like a PayPal too. I really like this setup. Let's see what we can get. It gives a very low risk to the upside and to the downside, so we can practically be unbiased on the stock and just play how it reacts to that zone, either short or long. But I really like, I think it can be a long Monday. Let's check shop. So shop, okay, couldn't hold the yearly pivot, and now it's testing to the bottom side now on this zone. So this is the entire zone right here. $5. So if you want, you can split it. You can keep the upper zone here and a bottom zone there. So let's do that. Key resistance is going to be 362.60, 365.43, and key support, we're going to give it a little bit. Let's give the previous close line as well. So 358.74, 360.19. I am more short bias on this than long bias. So I'm gonna most likely be looking for a short setup on the stock Monday for pullback. I wanted to get it over here, this 338, 343 zone. This is the first zone right here, and this is the last line of defense. So that's what I'm looking for. I really wanted a dip to around here. And if that doesn't hold, then this has to hold. This 339.03. So there's a lot of range. If we break above this one, the first resistance is going to be this 371.55, which is also almost the high, the high over there that couldn't break. But if we break that, the next level is going to be the 379. So there's also a very nice range to the upside. ALLK. So ALLK, I have been tracking this, and I missed the short and I missed the long on it. Just so many tickers. So it bounced very nicely on the support here. The problem is that since it's after hours, TOS doesn't alert. So I'm gonna have to start putting my alerts on my phone on another software, because TOS doesn't alert my stuff pre-market after hours, extended hours. So what we're looking right now is for more upside. What it needs to happen for more upside. Always answer your trading idea with what can go wrong. If you do that, you're going to minimize your chance of losing. So what it can go wrong? I want this to go long. What will make it not to be a long anymore for me? What will be the worst case scenario? For me, would be a break of this zone, which is the 86.87, 87.40. So if it breaks this zone, I am not interested in the long side at this point. So what I'm going to be looking for? I want to be looking for a dip and hold to go long. The key resistance is going to be this 92.72, 93.07. Now you have to be careful with this stock because it moves fast. If this just gaps up to this zone, I'm not going to take a long here. I wanted to see, I'm actually going to see if I can find a short setup, something like the way we like. But if I still want to go long, and I prefer not to take a short position on weakness, I will be waiting for the dip, right? So where you want it to dip? Well, we can get it on the breakout level, which is here, right here, breakout level, 88.72. Where is the other one? 89.60. But remember, this has to be your stop loss. If you grab here, your stop loss has to be under this zone, okay? If we can't break this, most likely we're going to test the 82.05, 83.44, which is going to be the downside line in the sand right here. Let's mark that up. All right, so that's the plan. So what happens if we break that? What is the next level? If we break this one, we have a intraday speed bump at 94.13, but the next target is going to be 96.77, 98.31. And if you break that, $100, which is going to be that psychological number that you have to keep careful with if it goes there. Let's check it out. McDonald's still have a few tickers. Let's see if we can stay in 1 hour and 30 minutes. So McDonald's couldn't break the quarterly pivot, came back down, bounced on the yearly pivot, and went back up. Push through, retest the monthly, hold, and is trying to see what's gonna do. So why do I like this ticker? For the same reasons of PayPal, the risk reward on the upside and downside are very attractive. Okay. So what we are looking for, we're looking for key resistance. Don't want it to be too big. But key resistance is going to be 218.26 to 18.83. And the key support is going to be right here. Key support is going to be right here. 217.49, 217.72. If we break this here, then 215 could be in the near future for McDonald's. Above this 218.83, we're looking for the 220-ish, to 1977 to 20, and the 220.86. The ultimate goal is to retest this 222 level. ADVM. So ADVM is approaching a very, very important zone, which is right here. Let me mark this. So our key resistance is going to be 1356, 1395. If we break and hold that, we're going to retest those 1459, 1436, 1459. And then that $15 mark right there. Now to the downside, if we can't push and hold this, then we're most likely going to retest this 1246. You can say that the last line of defense is going to be this 1308 to avoid to get there. Remember, this is the main weekly pivot, so we're still bullish on the week if we get there. We just don't want it to break under. So if you're looking for a long position and you unloaded your longs on this key resistance and it goes there and holds support, then you may take another shot with a stop right below it. Maybe 227 would be a nice stop if you get it around here. Yeah. Now where you can go if you go short, if you lose this, most likely you're going to retest is 1150, 1165, and then 1074. WKHS. This is another ticker we called on the chat. Not only here, but we are calling for a little bounce from here. We mentioned if we could hold above this zone, we have another push up. Now, what's a nice thing is that it's holding above this 363. If we can keep it like that, we may retest 389. What is the other level? 389, 397. So if you're still swinging this stock, it needs to hold this 359, 363 for more. And holding this, we're gonna probably retest this higher level over here, 389s. If we can't hold it, however, we're gonna test this 341, 346 level, which is gonna be the last line of defense, okay? Can even make it a little bit wider. I kind of like this level here at 335, but just keep it tight. You can always come back in on a lower spot if you get there. So that would be the plan. First thing is the upside. If we hold here, that would be the first plan. Let's check NVIDIA. One second, I'm just trying to get some tickers that was requested on my phone. Okay, so NVIDIA, I know it's a lot of lines, but just focus on the current lines. Congratulations if you took that short. It was not me in this case. I was not trading too much Friday. So what we need NVIDIA to happen, it needs to hold this 159.25, 159.33. It's like almost a must to hold this. If you want a more upside on NVIDIA, it needs to hold this bottom, okay? It needs to hold this. Now, we are gapping up most likely in the market, right? Where are we right now? Let's check real quick. We are still up 11.25. Did it hit? Yeah, I had to check intraday to get a better idea of what happened. Let's leave it loading while we... Okay, so far we are gapping up in the market. If we gap above this, we needed to hold the back test. This is a very important level. So let me delete this and make it smaller here. And have this one here. So key support 159.25, 159.56. Key resistance 161.61, 162.42. Now there's so much overhead on NVIDIA, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be a rough area. So if you go long, just make sure to take partials, because NVIDIA can be vicious. Look at that drop. So make sure to take your partials. This is a lower high right here, intraday, of course. So let's see if the markets cooperate with NVIDIA and we push above this, back down, and see if we can hold and push. If we lose this, most likely we're going to retest this 156. So about three points drop. It has very nice range up and down. JMIA. Almost there, guys. So JMIA, We're trying to, remember we talked about this one, we're trying to catch this reversal bottom on it. We're still doing the higher low, but we can't break this high. Not yet. Hopefully this is not a bear flag. But so keep it tight. And remember, you can always add back in. We have earnings this week on the 21st. That's gonna be Wednesday. So Wednesday before market open. So what we want to see JMIA to do, we want JMIA to push above and hold this support, 1280. 1280, what is this level here? 1311. That's going to be the key support right here. You can even put a little bit lower just because the main weekly is at 1268. So we can make it a little bit wider just for this special occasion. And key resistance is going to be this top that it can't break, 1365. Once we break 14, it's probably going to squeeze maybe to 1650. I'll be looking for the 16s if this can break 14. And downside, if we can't hold it, most likely going to retest this 1169, 1199. VIPS, we just have a few more. So VIPS we have been calling for 2 days maybe on the chat room. You guys can check in the pivots. We are approaching this important resistance right here. This is the 791, 795. I kind of like this one as well. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit wider. No, I'll leave it separate. So first it needs to break this, and then we're gonna have here 807, 816, and the ultimate resistance is gonna be this 827, 831. If we can break above that, most likely we're gonna retest this 865s, 889s. So keep an eye on it. If we can't break it, most likely go back down to the next zone, which is going to be 768, 774, and 747. The main weekly is way down there at 734. So this is going to be the last line of defense right here. If it dips here, keep an eye on it. If you want to go long, 727, 734. If you're short from here, make sure you take partials. INMD. Now this is an insane stock that we have been talking about. Yes, it is at the 20s. Insane. So if we can hold the back test to 20, where we can go, this here is at 2259. So let's say this is the downside line in the sand right here. If we lose this, most likely we're going to retest. You can even make it higher if you want to start shorting on this level here, which is 1990, 20. If we can't hold like this, back down, can't hold, then most likely we test 1924 and then the 1836, the 1780, which is going to be the last line of defense. Let me mark this 1836. So this is the last line of defense right here. 1780, 1836. If we break and hold this, we're going to be looking at this 2225, 2259. Right there as your next target. YRIV. So what you have to look for on this week on this one is that it is getting back down to a very strong support. It's getting back down to a very strong support level. Let me delete this here. Oh, no. Move. So what we're looking for on this, we want to see a hold of this zone for long, 0.5279 and 0.5747. If we gap up too much or we can't have a chance to get there, we want to see a reclaim. Where did I mark my level? Where I mark this? Oh, here. We want to see a reclaim of, actually, let's divide this in two. Right here. So key support 0.5279, 0.5389. Key resistance 0.5747, 0.6021. Now, it's only going to go on a bigger range if it breaks above the 70. Okay, so make sure you take your partials over there. Now, if we lose this, the last line of defense is going to be 0.4711. This is the last line of defense. But it looks to me like we can catch along on this. Just keep an eye on those levels. ABBV. So we have ABBV, CAT, and then we're going to check Walmart, Pepsi, and Square, and that's going to be it. Walmart, PP, and Square. So ABBV. Bounce off our pivot zone. Now it needs to stay above. It needs to stay above this weekly this week. So key support is going to be right here. 64.10, 64.31. And the key resistance. It's going to be this one here. I'm thinking if I should put more. Yeah, I can say key resistance zone is going to be 65.77, 66.36. So you wanted to hold support here to push through. The last line of defense, which is the downside line in the SIEN, is going to be the 63.18, 63.61. So there's a very nice range up and down from here. If we break this, then things can start getting ugly. probably going to retest 61 and 59.50, 59.73 if we break it this. Cat. So we bounce 1, 2, 3, 4 times off the monthly pivot. What do we need from cat? We need it to stay above this, which is 116.43, 116.74. It looks like we're below that, so it needs to reclaim. That's going to be the key resistance. If we gap up, the upper key resistance is going to be right here at 117.47, 117.83. If we can't hold this, it needs to hold here. I would love to see this 115.50 to hold support. If we can hold that, we're probably going to retest this low as 114, which is going to be the downside line in the sand for this. Now let's check really quick if we have any information. See guys, just look in the past. This is our yearly pivot right here from last year. So if we lose that, that's going to be the last, the target right there. If we lose this 114.37, this is the target, 112.38, 112.93. If we break above this, our target is going to be so more resistance right above it. Well, it's a buck up, so there is some room to go. Just checking real quick. Yeah, I like this 119.59. So these are the next resistance. If you're long on it, on this reclaim or retest and hold, you're looking at 118.26 and 119.59. Walmart, just 3 more tickers. Walmart. Yeah, you can see the key resistance is going to be right here. You guys see here how many times it came from this level. So that's going to be the key resistance, because key support, I mean. It would be nice if you can hold a higher level here. If we can hold this support, that would be even nicer. And then we retest here. This zone. So that's the plan. We are looking ideally for reclaim and hold of this 112.97, 113.33 for a contest of this 114.08.04, and ultimately this 14.68, that is where it struggled last time. If we can break that, we're going to contest the all-time high, and the goal for the upside is going to be this 116.21. So baby steps. First, hold 112.97. Push for 14, reclaim 1468, and then we hit our goal at 116.20. If we can't hold this, this is going to be this is our line of defense right here. If it dips here on the open, watch for also support to go long. 111.63, 111.83. Remembering that is overextended on the weekly. The main weekly is at 110, so we are trading at $3 above it already, which is okay. It can go to even to the R3 is the one that is considered the overextended, which is 127. Not saying it's going to go there. I'm just saying that this is not overextended, just a way of thinking things. PEP. Okay. Sorry, it took a little bit longer to mark that level. My hands are shaky a little bit. My eyes are blurry. But there we go. For PP, we want more upside. It looks good. Looks like it wants more, but it needs to hold ideally above all of this here. 130.65, 130.99, 131.30. The day main is going to be at 131.57, so you can extend, if you want to extend or divide this in two, it's up to you as well. You can do a little pocket zone from here and a little pocket zone here, if you prefer. So it's going to be a very tight range, downside line descent, upside line descent. I will watch for dips if it goes over here, 129.76. We stop loss very tight. If we break above it, where we can go, most likely, that's why I rejected because of this pivot here. Let's mark just to see how close it was, the rejection. Looks close to me. But if we can break above this previous high, which is 132.32, most likely gonna see this what is that level? 133.29, 133.43. Just don't hold the entire thing all the way. Just keep scaling out, because you know news can come at any second, tweet or anything. If we lose this one, then we're gonna hold. We're gonna test here, like we said. That will be the last line of defense, and with if we lose that, we're gonna retest this quarterly pivot once more, 129. Now last ticker, Square. Really? Didn't alert me for pennies. I hate when that happens. Okay, you're gone. I'm gonna start putting lower because TOS is so slow sometimes. It didn't hit that one, but Sometimes it happens to hit and I don't get it. But square looks good. Bounce off that key resistance support level. We have a zone right here. We push for this quarterly pivot, try to hold twice. So that's going to be the downside line in the sand. The upside line in the sand is going to be right here. So let's mark intraday. So downside line in the sand, we really want this to hold 62.33, 62.45. For upside, we want it to break above. You can say there's the first target. You can say your first target is going to be 63.70 and 63.97, which is our stronger pivot right there. So if you're long, just be careful with that once it gets there, okay? That's our strongest pivot on the board. If we break above that, then we have 64.48, 64.65. But usually we don't break the first time that we get there. So keep an eye on that. Downside over here, if we lose that, most likely we're going to retest this 61.50, 61.66. All right, guys, that was it. I hope you enjoyed and make a lot of great trades using our prep session. I'll be posting on YouTube. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be posting the link in the chat room. Please stick around for Q's announcement. Thank you everybody for showing up and enjoy the rest of your week. I see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. for pre-market trading. Thank you so much and take care.